These are the cards to summon Exodia. Say goodbye to Exodia!
Monster Cardo, and it's another loss for Weevil, which is no surprise as Yu-Gi-Oh's Weevil has 3 extremely bad traits that constantly make him a failure. You must ask yourself, do you rely on any of these traits? Because time after time, Weevil does not learn his lesson. However, today is the day you do learn the very lesson Weevil fails to pick up on. Lesson number 1. Over-reliance. Weevil's main strategy revolves around his insect-type monsters, particularly his ace monsters like the Great Moth. Whilst it is important to maintain focus, to be so narrowly focused on only one possible path limits versatility. Therefore, if an opponent finds and indeed exploits a weakness, you are left with no other option but failure. And boy, does Weevil fail a lot. Let's extend on this lesson using the book The 48 Laws of Power, which I assume you are somewhat familiar with. Law 29 states, plan all the way to the end. This law emphasizes the importance of thinking ahead and considering potential risks or dependencies. Over-reliance occurs when individuals become too dependent on only one singular path, leaving themselves vulnerable to failure and manipulation. If you place all of your power on one single path, there is a power imbalance, leading to a lack of autonomy and decision-making ability for your own choosing. This leaves you wide open to be exploited by those in power and easily manipulated or controlled. Lesson number 2. Lack of patience. Although it is fair to say Weevil is cunning and also plans ahead, he often desires quick victories, thus makes rash decisions.
For a long time, I've been trying to come up with some kind of strategy to finally beat these cards, but I couldn't come up with anything until just this moment.
Let's take 2 examples from the Yu-Gi-Oh series. First, he notices Yugi's Exodia is extremely strong. Rather than trying to build around the deck, therefore improving himself to become a better duelist in the process, he instead decides to waste the learning opportunity and throws all 5 pieces of Exodia into the sea. This is a huge opportunity missed by Weevil, as he had the chance to level up, but instead took the easy way out. Another example of this is when Weevil and his friend Rex get the seal of Orichalcos. Again, instead of trying to defeat Yugi by planning out long-term strategies and improving, he tries to take the easy way out. Now I want you to think about this in your own life. In what circumstances do you take the easy way out? Do you think it's fair to say that sometimes you would be better off taking the long way around, as it can indeed be better for learning? Don't get me wrong, in certain contexts, finding ways to be more efficient can be extremely fruitful. However, patience is key, and whilst everyone else is looking for a quick and easy fix, you can be as slow as a snail, waiting and scaling until your opportunity comes. Focus on building foundational skills and focus on the process, and by the time a year has passed, you will be far from what you could ever believe you could achieve. Let's once again go back to the 48 Laws of Power. Law 16 states, use absence to increase respect and honor. Whilst this law may not directly address patience specifically, it does emphasize an important point linked to patience. This point is that waiting and exercising restraint to cultivate a sense of respect and admiration can be indeed important. Law 16 suggests that by strategically withdrawing or creating a sense of absence, one can increase their perceived value and indeed influence. Patience plays a crucial role in this law because it requires resisting the impulse to act immediately and allows time to work in one's favor. Don't get me wrong, it is important to celebrate small victories, but don't get caught up in them. Celebrate them, remember them, but move forward into your next goal using past victories as motivation. Number 3. Underhanded psychological manipulation. This is probably Weevil's most recognizable trait. Take for example in one of the first episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh, in which he lures Yugi into a field which suits his insect monsters, therefore giving him a small advantage and a field boost. Now, small advantages do increment into big advantages. However, doing this in such an underhanded way not only loses the respect of those around you, but also yourself. Now, why is this so important? Well, underhanded and sneaky tactics make you miss out on the collaborative learning opportunities. If Weevil took on Yugi with no advantages, he could learn at a much faster rate and with a noble focus. This negative perception in relation to oneself and also reputation leads to isolation, which leads for less rich learning. It is extremely important to learn from other people as well as yourself. Making too many enemies is a recipe for disaster. Oftentimes, it would be fair to say that Weevil's focus on mind games overshadow his brilliant dueling skills. To cap this video off, let's consider one final law from the 48 Laws of Power. Law number 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. This law suggests that actions speak louder than words. Instead of engaging in fruitless arguments, it is more effective to demonstrate your power and competence through consecutively winning. How many times has someone told you how great they were at an activity? Now compare your outlook towards that person versus the person who just wins without saying a word. Results are indeed the only proof of a person's competence. Finally, to close out this video, if you are bored of scrolling mindlessly on TikTok or YouTube watching video after video, consider listening to the full, informative 48 Laws of Power while you are doing your day-to-day activities. I personally enjoy listening to audiobooks and encouraging learning whilst I am outside walking, taking in the nature and sunshine of my surroundings. This is fantastic exercise and improves my health, and on top of that, my mind is also engaged. You can find a free link to the book in the video description with a free trial for Audible. Regardless whether you act on that or not, I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day.